So War and Peace and Real Madrid, right? War and Peace, Real Madrid and Manchester City. What happened? You see, in War and Peace, it says when the battle is over, when the battle is over, people come up with theories. After armies have had a fight, and one army loses and another wins, then come theories of how intelligent this general was, how brave these soldiers were, or how the weather played a part, or whatever it is. But nobody knows. Nobody knows why the battle goes one way or the other. It happens. Furthermore, when Prince Andrew is offered a chance, I think his name is Prince Andrew. This book is too long and very boring. But the ideas are worth waiting for. But when Prince Andrew he's offered a chance to command the armies or some regiment, some Russian regiment against Napoleon. When he's given that chance, he's been to war before, and he's noticed its brutality and its inhumanity, and how people afterwards, after the fact, come up with all sorts of reasonings, and he's seen how everything is perhaps not as good as people would think it should be, or as clear as people, or as dignified, or as humane as people make it sound when they talk about war. Okay, there's a part where he says, we're not just going to be going to war or something. We're going to try to murder them, and they're going to try to murder us. That's all there is to it, right? So that's what, it's a very fascinating book. But that's not what we want to talk about here. We're talking about, so when he is offered the chance, when Prince Andrew is offered the chance, Prince Andrew, do you want to be a commander for one of these regiments? Prince Andrew decides, after seeing all these things that have happened in war, and he realizes that war turns on the sound of one man sometimes. Just one soldier yelling, "We are finished," can just spread terror to the whole army, and everyone turns around and the battle is lost. Or one soldier grabbing a gun and running into the most terrible danger and yelling, "Let's go!" And then that actually can inspire the whole army, and they can actually go forward and they can win the battle. Right? This is what Prince Andrew knows. So now they ask him, "Mate, do you want to be the leader of one of these armies?" He decides no. He would rather be a common soldier or something similar to that, because that's where the battle is won, among the common people. Right? That's the first thing that he decides. But the author tells us that nobody knows why a war is won. It just happens. But according to the author, it happens because the gods or God, because the author does not go with the gods. God has decreed that it ought to be that way. God has decreed that it ought to be that way. So he says there's a mysterious force that comes over the battlefield, and that mysterious force is what determines who wins the war and who loses it. I would like to say, what happened today in the morning between Real Madrid and Manchester City? What happened between the two of them was that thing. That was that thing that the author was discussing. Maybe on a football level, of course. Nobody can tell us why Manchester City lost. We cannot say it is because Pep Guardiola substituted Riyad Mahrez or Kevin De Bruyne. We cannot say that, because the creator of the goal that won the game was actually Gundogan, who was put in because they pulled out Kevin De Bruyne. Right? We cannot say it's because the defenders that he had were poor quality defenders, because the defender who considered the losing penalty for his team was the best player that man has, Ruben Diaz. Okay, so we can't say that there was something wrong with the team that led to them losing the game. There was nothing wrong with the team. However, there was a spirit. There was a spirit that went across that team. Something, one player, someone says, "Ha!" or someone said, "We're finished." And that's how the game was lost. It was lost in the hearts of these people from Manchester City. They crumbled. They lost it. And that's how they lost the game. They crumbled mentally, right? And Real Madrid stiffened up mentally right at the end. And that's how they win it. There's no real explanation. There's no real reason why it happened. There's no rhyme or reason. But it did happen. Because, it happened. And so now, after this, we can all dissect this and blame Pep Guardiola, blame the players, or maybe we may chalk it up to Carlo Ancelotti being the most amazing manager ever, or is it down to Karim Benzema being someone who's a great fighter? We can't put it down to all those people. What happened, happened. And that's how it ended.